Hey, this is Stacia, and I'm going to share another training game that I played on chess.com. So I'm trying to get to 2000. I have a long way to go. I'm in the 1700s at the moment. Um, but I played another 1700 this game, and we did have a Smith-Morra gambit. So I went e4 and I faced c5, the Sicilian defense. And I like to play d4. So this is a gambit. After takes, we do not take with the queen because knight c6 means we have to move our queen twice in the opening. That's not really what we want. Instead, we go c3. And now after takes and takes, if you look at what black has done so far, they've gone here, here, here. So I'm kind of explaining how black wastes time in the opening, but they do go up a pawn in result. But in compensation for that pawn, we have an active knight out. Our bishops have lots of scope. Oops, not like that. Like this. And okay, well, I can't draw arrows, but I assure you this gambit is pretty decent. Knight to c6, knight to f3. And now the moment of truth. What will my opponent do against the Morra? There's so many things that you can do. My opponent went g6, and this is basically the dragon formation. Now, I don't think the dragon is so good against the Morra gambit, and you're going to kind of see why, because believe it or not, I'm going to win a piece kind of early. Bishop c4, h6. Okay, I don't like that move. I mean, if you're playing against a gambit where white is like way ahead in development like this, like we have 1, 2, 3 tempos of development. Black has 1, basically. I mean, they're spending 2 to develop the bishop. You really don't have time for that necessarily, unless you're super solid. And black is super solid here, so I think it's okay. But after h6, it's like, okay, they're probably living on the edge of disaster. I'll ask the engine. Probably going to say white is better now. Yeah, white is plus 1.3. And don't forget, we're down a pawn, so not a good sign after castles. Okay, which I did play. Because if my opponent wastes time, then that means that I should continue developing quickly. Then I'll be done developing before them. Okay, bishop g7, and now the move e5. I think this move is pretty interesting. It is well, it looks like a sacrifice. If they take the pawn, which they did, then I can take, and after bishop takes, we go check, king should take, and okay, you're down a piece, Stacia. What are you doing? Oh, this, queen d5 check. Then we would win back the bishop. So that's sort of the point of that line. And there's kind of a funny line here too, where black can try to protect the bishop. But if they do this, I mean, any experienced chess player knows that if you're moving your king like this in the opening, you're probably going to lose the game. And in fact, that's true here because we'll check the king. Okay, you can either admit your mistake and give us the bishop with check, or you can try to hold on to it still with this move, but then maybe here. Oh, and this line's a little different than usual. Usually I'm not castled yet. This is a little different. I'm used to bringing the rook out. But I have to believe this is still completely winning. Let's see, what do we have here? I still like this move, I think. Because, I mean, basically you're baiting the king. You're like, hey, come a little closer. Come a little closer. And then they get checkmated. Yeah, I'm sure this is winning. Yeah, it's mate in 6. Okay. I mean, we could take the bishop, attack the rook. I mean, there's so many things here. F3 check, H3 check. Okay, you get the point. But anyway, in the game, my opponent did something very peculiar. So they took the pawn. I took, and then they did not take back. So I don't know if this is like a calculation error on their part, or if they thought they had compensation in the form of 2 pawns. Maybe they did. Maybe they do, but I kind of doubt it. My development is too good. It's going to make up for the material disadvantage. But I'm up a piece, I'm just up a piece. So if that was a sacrifice, it was a terrible one. Yeah, the engine says +4, which is kind of what I was thinking. But okay, how do we play now, though? I have a lot of trouble winning 1 games sometimes. I really do. Or converting games, as they say. But, so, black will probably get some compensation and some counterplay, and we should try to limit the counterplay and consolidate. So I try to do that, but I don't think I do the best job. We'll look at this together and see. Okay, so the first thing I thought was, why can't I just retreat my knight? I'm up a piece. If they want to take c3 and give me a weak pawn, that's totally fine. I'm up a piece. And that dark square bishop is rather important with all the weak dark squares in the black camp. So I did play this. Let's see what the engine says. The engine likes a lot of other moves. Wow. Okay. The engine's giving knight takes f7, which I thought about. I thought after king takes, if I just check with the queen, I thought there's knight f6. Oh, but then we have knight e4. I bet we have knight e4. And if d5, we probably have rook d1. I'm not using the engine, but that does look pretty natural. So let's check that now. Yeah, it says on king takes f7. Oh, wow. I did not see this at all. Bishop takes e6, check. That is cool. Yeah, that's pinned. The queen is unprotected. See, this is the problem when you don't develop your pieces. Your knight's in the way of the rook, etc. So, wow. So bishop e6 would have been possible. Okay, had I seen that, I would have played knight takes f7. But I was looking at this and it wasn't like clear to me if it was good. And I'm not going to sack a piece in a winning position unless I'm 100% sure it's awesome. So I retreated. I'm sure I'm still fine here. Yeah, I'm +2. +3. Okay, let's continue. d5, of course. Now, I thought about putting the bishop on d3, but I thought, hey, any piece trades are going to favor me. So I went ahead and checked them. Let's see if this decision was any good. Yep, it's the best move. Okay, I'm glad to see that. So after bishop e5 check, they blocked. Okay, I went bishop f4 because if they take me, I'm okay with this. There's no queen a5 check. Remember, I castled. There's no queen a5 check. Even if there was, I have knight c3. So, I thought it was fine to leave the bishop in this position. And with the bishop on f4, if they did take, and I take back with a knight, I'm actually making a nice threat then. So I thought this would be really nice. I'll check with the engine. It is really nice. Okay, great. Okay. So they played knight g to e7, desperate to castle. Now, I thought about playing bishop d6 here. It's a move I could play, but it feels a little pointless, I guess. So I thought about maybe just doing the normal Morra plan here. Like, what if I just go queen e2, rook d1? I could also put a rook on the c file, really try to get a grip on c7. So I think I did go with that. So let's see what the engine likes. Wow, the engine likes taking on d7 and playing knight e5 immediately. I guess that makes some sense. I did not really consider that seriously. because I felt like I should get my rooks in the game. So why is this so strong? Well, I can tell you number one is that f6 isn't possible. We play knight takes g6. Oh, well, also we take the queen. So the knight is pretty entrenched in here, more than I would have expected. They would have to move their queen. Ooh, yeah, there's not any good spaces for the queen. Okay. Yes, computer engine, I agree. If they go queen c7, they're walking into rook c1. That's not good. If they go here, they're walking into, knight takes g6, which would protect the bishop, attack the queen. So that's not good. If they go queen d8, they're just moving their queen again, going back home. That's not great either. Here, rook c1. And if they go to here or here, we take them. So, wow. Okay. So, Now, sometimes I like to ask myself, why did I not see that? And I think the reason is I didn't seriously consider taking the bishop, but it is a forcing move. It's a capture and a check. That means I should look at that move. I think I looked at it in like less than half of 1 second, and that was it. And I was like, oh, I'm not trading pieces. But had I looked at it, I think I could have found knight e5 and realized, like, hey, their queen can't really move anywhere good, and if they take us, that's a tempo on the rook, and if they go here, that looks terrible. And yeah, I really like the line the computer gives. Makes a lot of sense, even for a human. But I played bishop f4, also good for a human. Knight e7, rook c1, a6, moving another pawn. Now I probably should take, and I did. And wow, I bet the computer likes knight e5 here. Probably does. Yeah, knight e5 again looks good. But I went queen e2. I'm just playing a little more natural. Let's see what the engine says, though. The engine likes knight to a4 or queen b3. Huh. I like knight to a4. That's a move I understand. It's protected by the queen, and we're threatening a fork. If we don't get the fork, we'll get into a really nice square on c5. So I like knight a4. I was definitely thinking about knight a4, but I thought I should connect my rooks first. Maybe I'm a little too mechanical sometimes. Think so. But I wanted to put a rook across from the queen. I thought that would be more annoying. Okay, so I went queen e2. They played knight c6. That takes a piece away from the king side, but they do have their dark square bishop, so maybe it's fine. And so I played rook fd1. Okay, the engine does like this one. Castles. Okay, and now it's time to decide. I tried to play fairly quickly, as you can probably see. 12 minutes. This is a 15-minute game, so I didn't use much time to play these moves. And I think that's actually correct for a rapid game. But it is very against my nature to play that way. I like to find the absolute best move. I think that's the most interesting thing about chess, is that there's often like a best move. And there's often like many ideas, but some ideas don't work at all. Some kind of work and are okay. And some are like really good because of specific reasons. Analyzing all of that, I think, is just fascinating. But that's how I burn too much time. So when you have 50 minutes, you can't really do that. So, look at my position. I'm up a piece. I might be down 2 pawns, but I'm up a piece. And my position's looking pretty nice. It's all coordinated, and I'm probably like +2 here. Yeah, I was right, +2. Okay, So that's what I thought, and I was quite happy here. So I went with knight a4. I like this a lot. I thought the difference between this knight a4 and the one from earlier, though, is that the queen was on d1 protecting the knight. This is unprotected, so I had to calculate. I'm walking into discoveries, right? This knight can move anywhere, and my knight will be attacked. Now, if the knight moves somewhere silly, like this, it's not that silly, but a little bit maybe, then I can play knight c5. I'll get a tempo on the queen, that's totally fine. But they can play knight d4. So I did calculate this, and it was played. And I thought, okay, fine, if they go knight takes if they go knight d4, I'm not going to go knight c5 attacking their queen because they'll attack my queen. That's check and a fork. It forks everything, and now I probably lose. That's what I thought. So I thought, not knight c5. Instead, I'll just simply take it. If they take with a bishop, I can take with a rook. I protect the knight. That's even more winning. But if they take on here, which is what they did in the game, then they're attacking a pawn, but I'm not sure I care that much. I guess they're not threatening a fork. I have it protected. Yeah, okay. I did think about that. Then I thought here, you know, this is fine. I managed to trade off some pieces, and I'm up a piece. And I can play bishop e5, which I did play. I thought if f6, that's very weakening. And, you know, the knight's super protected. I am offering a pawn. I guess that's the one bad thing. But I thought the queen is a little out of play here. I could be wrong about that, but okay. Let's see what the engine says about all this. So it does mention knight a4. Okay, so I'm happy to see that. So it's probably going to give this line then, because oh, it actually wants different moves here. It doesn't like knight d4. It thinks just queen e7, just avoiding the fork is the way to go. So like queen e7, I would probably go knight c5. And on knight c5, the computer wants to go e5. Oh, yeah, that's why the queen's there. They're putting everything on the e5 square to push e5. And I'm going to be on the back foot a little bit here. f5's next. Yeah, the pawn avalanche is coming. Okay. So I like queen e7. The engine's totally right about that move. But my opponent played this, and I was like, okay, fine. I'll do the line I planned. Knight takes, queen takes. And I went bishop e5. And this is all great. Okay. So, I mean, we've been winning for a while, but, you know, we still have to win. That's the problem. It's not, it doesn't feel that certain to me because, I mean, black has, like, good development now. And these pawns in the center, I mean, the d pawn is a pass pawn. Plus, I'm probably going to lose a pawn. Yeah, I did lose a pawn. Okay, I think the engine's okay with this, though. Oh, yeah, it is. It says my move is plus 10. Yeah, and it's just bishop takes g7. Now, why would this be so winning? I'm so glad you asked. I think it's so winning because the remaining black pieces are kind of silly. That rook's not doing anything. That rook hasn't moved yet. That queen went on a pawn hunting exhibition. Okay, on the other hand, my rooks are looking pretty good. Okay, this rook is staring into a pawn, but that's kind of important because that's a pass pawn. And black might try that. My knight's great. My queen can come into e5 with check. If they go f6, these pawns all become weak. So, etc. I thought I was winning too. Plus, anytime there's a fang-catoed bishop on g7 and you can trade that off, it usually makes the king a bit unsafe. And so that's what I was kind of hoping for here. So queen e5 check. King h7, yeah. I thought they should play something like this. All right, so I now played b3. Silly move, but I was like, do I really need to give up another pawn and invite a pin on my knight? So I decided not to do that. I mean, it's probably fine to allow it, but I like the fact that the knight's protecting the pawn and there's no pawns kicking away the knight. This one could, but it's blockaded. Okay, so, yeah, and f6 isn't happening because, I mean, queen takes e6. So my opponent played queen a5. And now what to do for white? I decided to go with h4, but I'm really want to know what the computer says. Oh, wow. It's giving a whole bunch of moves I didn't even think about. The first one it's saying is knight takes e6. Okay, I kept looking at this, but I did not see it working. So how does this work? Oh, I think I see now. Oh my gosh. This is not that hard to see. After takes, I think rook c7 check. It's guarded by the queen, and it's check. And now, I mean, isn't g7? We're coming in on g7. So they probably have to do something like drastic. Yeah, what can they do, actually? They have to sack the queen. It's the only way. So that just wins. Wow, knight takes e6. I wish I had seen that one. That one looks really good. The other one it wants is rook c7. Okay, I did think about that one. And it also wants b4. So b4 is a pawn sacrifice as far as I can tell. And I guess we're going to go rook b1. No, now knight takes e6 is even stronger. So that's why it wants this. It's stronger because black isn't allowed to sack their queen anymore. That's what I think. That's really funny. Yeah, black really wishes they could sack their queen now. Oh, noes. Yeah, all they can do now is queen e7, check here. This is not, that's just checkmate. So, okay. Yeah, wow. Okay, had I seen the point of knight takes e6, I think I didn't see that rook c7 would come in with check. I did not make that connection, so I played h4. Yeah, kind of a weak move. Not good. I had the chance to win, like, on the spot. h4, I'm still better, though. Okay, they want to trade. I traded. Ooh, computer doesn't like it that much. Yeah, see, I have problems winning one games. I really do. I was trying to draw the rook away from the king side, though. I thought I might go queen f6, h4, and I kept looking at knight takes e6, so I was ready to play it. So I did play queen f6, king g8. Oh, I played it. Yeah, I played knight takes e6 here. It is the best move, for a different reason, though. Knight takes e6. Now, black could try to make some big threat. Like what? I don't know. If they make a big threat, which I can't really find one. Oh, I know. I thought they might try to, like, pin me like this or something. Well, then I just have mate. I'm threatening mate. So this is a very forcing move. They kind of have to take the knight. But after they take the knight, I get this. That's a fork. That wins material. Yeah, and my opponent did resign here. I guess he was okay with being down a piece for a pass pawn, but he wasn't okay being down this much. So yeah, all right. Well, I haven't ran the evaluation yet, so I'm going to run the game analysis now. And let's see how we did analyzing this game. Maybe I can extend the board for you guys. Okay, if we look at the graph, yeah, it's kind of what I would have predicted. I was never in trouble. I was always winning. But I missed some easier wins, which is honestly a weakness for me. I need to learn how to win more precisely, I do think. But on the other hand, it was a rapid game, and I didn't lose on time, so that's good. So there is something to be said for the time management part of it. So okay, if we just look at what the engine wants, does it have that key move thing? Let's do it. Let's do that. G6 is the last book move, which I don't believe. G6 is not the last book move. All right, so it wanted knight a4 here. Yes, we knew about that. Queen e2 is fine. Okay, and then I play knight a4 when it's not as good. Instead, I should have went knight e5. b3 misses a winning move, knight takes e6. So yeah, probably what I'll do is put that knight takes e6 thing. I'll make it into a flashcard and put it in Chessable. That's what I've been doing. I'm finally using Chessable like crazy. I have to say, Chessable has made a lot of improvements since I first had it, and it's way more appealing to me now. And I am putting like flashcards and openings and everything else in Chessable now, and it's just wonderful. I am loving it. Plus, I have a deep love for John Bartholomew. I've watched his YouTube videos very early on when I was like 1100. And, well, I mean, I'm sure that he contributed to me becoming 1700. Okay. H4 is good. It likes it. It doesn't mind the rook trade. It likes the queen. Yeah, I played okay. Oh, it says double exclam. I don't know if it's that brilliant, to be honest, but it's pretty good. And, yeah, I think, chess.com, they kind of wised up. What do I mean? What I mean is that, okay, and I do some marketing for a living, right? Like I work for a chess company. One of my main things that I do is market events. I market chess programs, etc. But chess.com used to only say like best move, good move, even if it was a brilliant sacrifice or whatever else. So I think they kind of dumbed it down a little bit. Like they're calling like decent moves like brilliant and great. like if the computer has to look like 2, 3, or 4 moves ahead, which is not hard for a computer at all, and not necessarily deep. So like knight takes e6 to me is a very simple tactic. Even a monkey could find that tactic, but it's giving me double exclams. So okay, whatever. I'm still happy to see the double exclams. I am a human and I like to be patted on the head. Wait, do humans like to be patted on the head? I guess I'm really like a puppy. But anyway, an old puppy, right? Yeah, but anyway, this did win me the game. So yay. Well, I'm happy to win a training game. I hope you learned something from this analysis, and I'll be back with more chess. Okay, bye.